There are many reasons why safety is important. Here are just a few. Where safety is concerned, nothing can take the place of knowledge. Knowing yourself, the machine, and the job site is the best way to avoid costly and potentially deadly accidents. In addition to understanding proper machine operation, you must be able to recognize situations which could lead to an accident, injuring yourself or someone working with you. This presentation discusses basic safety rules and instructions associated with the operation of backhoe loaders. Although it contains many valuable safety guidelines, it should not be treated as the only source for backhoe loader safety information. The Machine Operator's Manual is your primary guide for safe operation. Another excellent source is the Backhoe Loader Safety Manual produced by the Equipment Manufacturers Institute. When attachments are being used, the operator must also take time to review and understand the instructions in the Attachment Operator's Manual. You will see this safety alert symbol throughout this presentation, as well as in various manuals and on machine safety signs. It identifies important safety messages. When you see it, be alert to the possibility of serious injury or death. Always follow the instructions in the safety message. A good safety program starts with a thorough understanding of the backhoe loader you will be operating. Take a few minutes to review and become familiar with the controls and the symbols used to identify them. It is essential that you know the purpose of all controls, gauges, and indicators, as well as speed range, steering characteristics, turning radius, and operating clearances. Begin each workday with a visual inspection of the machine. Look for broken, worn, damaged, or missing parts. Check the tires for cuts or bulges. Inspect the hydraulic system for leaks. Have repairs made as necessary before operating. Pay special attention to the safety equipment. The cab is the most obvious safety feature. The structure provides falling object protection, or FOPS, and rollover protection, or ROPS. The FOPS and ROPS should never be removed or modified. Other safety equipment could include seat belts, lights, horn, guards or shields, mirrors, backup alarm, fire extinguisher or first aid kit, and loader and backhoe lockouts. Do not wear loose-fitting clothing or anything else that may catch on controls or in moving parts. Job conditions may require you to wear other protective clothing and/or personal safety devices. You may need a hard hat, safety shoes, safety glasses, goggles, or a face shield, heavy gloves, hearing protection, reflective clothing, wet weather gear, or a respirator or filter mask. When getting on the backhoe loader, face the machine. Use the grab handles and steps, maintaining a 3-point contact at all times. Never use the steering wheel or control levers as a handhold or enter the machine from the backhoe control station. Adjust the seat. Always fasten the seat belt. Adjust for snugness across your hips. Take time to read any safety signs and instructional decals in the cab, on other areas of the backhoe loader, and on any attachments. This information is important and will help you avoid situations which could result in serious injury or death. Before starting the engine, make sure the parking brake is engaged and that all controls are in the neutral or park position. Also, make certain the area is clear of all bystanders. Then, start the engine following the instructions in the operator's manual. Never attempt to start the engine unless you are sitting in the operator's seat with the seat belt fastened. Never attempt to start the engine by shorting across the starter terminals. The machine may start in gear if the neutral start circuitry is bypassed. The machine could move suddenly, causing injury or death to anyone in its path. Once the engine is running, test the engine speed control function. Operate each equipment control lever to make sure all are functioning correctly. Check the parking brakes and service brakes according to the operator's manual. Operate the transmission control to ensure correct operation in forward, neutral, and reverse. Now test the steering system operation right and left. If any problems are encountered, do not continue to operate the machine. Have the machine repaired as required. When traveling on a job site, take it slow and easy so you have complete control of the backhoe loader at all times. Yield the right-of-way to loaded machines and maintain a safe distance from all machines. Carry the bucket low for maximum stability and visibility. Make sure the backhoe is in the transport lock position. Avoid rough terrain or unstable surfaces if possible. Avoid traveling across steep slopes. Proceed straight up or straight down the slope, keeping a loaded bucket pointed uphill. With no load, keep the bucket pointed downhill. When traveling downhill, stay in gear. You must maintain engine RPM to provide steering and braking functions. Use the same gear range for traveling down a grade as you would for traveling up the grade. When raising a load, keep the bucket level to prevent spilling over the back of the bucket. Keep the work area as level as possible. Don't spin the tires. Use the loader bucket to back drag occasionally to maintain a smooth working surface. Never carry riders or use the bucket for a work platform. A backhoe loader is strictly a one-person machine. Always look around before backing up or swinging an attachment. Make sure that everyone is in the clear. Never lift, move, or swing a load over anyone, and never allow anyone to reach under or stand under raised lift arms. Use extreme caution when working along the top of a bank or slope. Drive slowly and keep away from the edge. It could collapse or a slide could occur. When working at the base of a bank or overhang, be alert for such dangers as rock or earth slides or a cave-in. Before operating the backhoe, make sure the area is clear of all persons. Use good worksite management by making sure the worksite is reasonably level and sufficiently firm and stable to support the machine as it works. Engage the parking brake. Lower the front-mounted equipment to the ground. Be sure to shift the transmission controls to neutral. Then lower the stabilizers and level the machine as much as possible. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations before you operate the backhoe. Several different control lever configurations exist. Be familiar with the machine you are operating. Here are a few safety guidelines that apply to all machines. Never operate the controls from the ground. Never enter or exit the loader from the rear of the machine. Never enter or allow anyone else to enter the backhoe swing pivot area. Also, know the pinch points and rotating parts on the backhoe and loader. Never let anyone in or near the pivot area of articulated machines. Before you dig, make certain you know the location of any buried gas lines, water lines, or cables in your work area. If you are unsure, call the National Diggers Hotline at 1-888-258-0808. Use extreme caution near overhead power lines. Follow all local, state, and federal OSHA regulations. Check clearances on any overhead lines. If possible, have power disconnected. Otherwise, use a signal person for guidance. Never dig under the machine or the stabilizers. This could cause a cave-in, and the machine could fall into the excavation. Another cause of cave-ins is spoil being dropped too close to the trench. Drop spoil well away from the excavation. If you are loading a truck, be sure the driver is in the cab protected by a canopy or away from the area. Still, never swing the bucket over the truck cab. If you must operate on a slope, swing the bucket uphill whenever possible to avoid tipping. If downhill dumping is necessary, work slowly and smoothly. Use extreme caution, swinging only as far as required to dump the bucket. Many jobs require lifting loads. Check the operator's manual for the machine lifting capacity and stay within those limits. Position the machine so that all lowering takes place over the back end. The loader bucket and stabilizers should always be lowered to the ground before lifting. Place pads or timbers under the stabilizers if the ground is soft. Be sure the load is properly balanced and move slowly so it does not sway or swing around. Lift the load only as high as necessary to avoid obstacles. Never allow anyone beneath a suspended load, and don't leave a load hanging. Lower it to a stable surface as soon as possible. When your work is completed, it is important to safely park and shut down the machine. Use good job site management practices to select a site on level ground whenever possible. Using the service brake, stop the machine. Lower all attachments to the ground. Shift all controls to neutral or park, locking them if so equipped. Engage the parking brake. Idle the engine for a short cool-down period. Stop the engine, remove the key. Cycle all hydraulic controls. If you must park on a slope or incline, position the machine at right angles to the slope. Engage the parking brake before lowering the attachments to the ground. Then block the wheels. To safely exit the backhoe loader, always maintain a 3-point contact with the steps and handholds facing the machine. Never exit over the backhoe controls. You should not perform any work on the machine unless you are authorized and qualified to do so. However, routine maintenance, such as checking fluid levels and inspecting hydraulic lines and tires, should be done by the operator daily. If the lift arms must be left in a raised position for service work, use the cylinder rod support struts. Place the controls in neutral and block the wheels. You should remove only guards or covers that provide access. Always reinstall them before leaving the machine. Make certain all guards, screens or panels, and safety signs are reinstalled on the machine as recommended by the manufacturer. When transporting a machine by truck or trailer, refer to the procedures outlined in the operator's manual. However, some precautions are applicable to all machines. Load and unload on a level surface. Block the transport vehicle. Use ramps of adequate size and strength. Place them at a low angle at the proper height. Place the loader bucket, backhoe, and stabilizers in the transport position and secure using safety chains, pivot pins, and/or other safety devices provided with your equipment. Chain and block the machine securely, including any attachments and parts not installed on the machine. Secure any attachments, both laterally and longitudinally. Note the combined width and height of the backhoe loader and the transport. This will allow you to avoid overhead and narrow obstructions. When driving over the road on public roads, make sure any clearance flags, all lights, and warning signs provided on the machine are in place and visible. Observe all speed and traffic control signs. And finally, obey all local traffic regulations. For example, you may be required to have an escort. Becoming a proficient backhoe loader operator requires knowledge, skill, and good judgment. Viewing this presentation is just one of the ways to work toward those goals. It is impossible to cover every situation you could encounter on the job. But by following good safety practices and using good judgment, you will protect yourself and those around you. Doing your job well and doing it safely is the mark of a professional.